Dreams by Media Molecule, Unity, Roblox, and now Core by Manticore Games. What do all these things have in common? Well, they're the engines that are about to break the console industry wide open. Here's why AA game development might have one foot in the grave. So if you haven't checked out my last video, I talked about Sony and their AAA development strategy. If you haven't, you can check it out at the link above. The short version is that Sony is focusing all of its resources on making the type of expensive, big budget games that you can only find on PlayStation 5. This is how they intend to sell consoles. But that's not their only strategy. Recently, gaming business news sites reported that Sony has invested an additional $200 million on top of $250 million into Epic Games. Why is that a big deal? Well, Epic traditionally makes games on PC, which is true, but they also make the Unreal Engine. And Unreal Engine 5 is probably going to be the major third-party engine for most games coming out on current-gen hardware. It's a big deal. Last generation, many of the AAA games that you played were made on Unreal Engine 4. Epic has essentially streamlined and strengthened the engine, making Unreal Engine 5 more robust and more appealing for third-party developers interested in making high-end AAA games at a fraction of the cost. We already know that Epic's Unreal Engine is multi-platform and platform agnostic, meaning that there's no way Epic is going to sell to Sony. There's no price that Sony can offer, or anyone frankly can offer, that would make Epic go exclusive to one company. Not going to happen. So the question is, why would Sony invest so much money into Epic Games, a platform that's traditionally on PC with software that's on every platform? And the answer might be in a company that Epic has invested into, and that company would be Manticore Games, which put out something today called Core Games. So if you've only been following the console trade industry press, you've probably totally missed this, but Core Games is a games creation, distribution, and monetization platform that allows users like you and me to make high-end video games at a fraction of the cost. And it makes it super easy. Core has essentially created a one-stop service that allows creators to monetize their games. It allows free-to-play, in-app purchases, DLC, multiplayer infrastructure, everything that a creator needs, all the hard work with making video games, Core handles that. And it's available now, and it's essentially free. I feel like I'm selling it, but I don't have to. It's crazy, and it's available right now on PCs. Calling it the YouTube Shorts or TikTok of gaming isn't an exaggeration. In fact, I think that's what the execs use to describe it too, so it's not a stretch. The appeal is that you can be with friends and jump from game to game in a matter of minutes. Kind of like swiping in TikTok, except not the same motion, but the same idea. And what's really cool, and essentially what the purpose of this video is that you can make anything in the platform. RPGs, MMOs, action games, strategy games, anything that you can think of, except fighting games. I haven't seen that yet, but just about any other genre you can think of, you can pretty much do in Core, because essentially it's Fortnite. It's a dream scenario for creators because all the hard work is taken right out of their hands. They just have to focus on creating, and once you make a game, whatever asset that you're selling, it's a 50-50 split with Manticore Games. So right now, Core is available exclusively on the Epic Game Store, which by extension is PC only. But maybe not for long. And I think Sony's counting on that. Here is the question that we as console gamers should be asking. What happens when you have a third-party game engine that allows good enough game experiences and sometimes great experiences, but exclusive on your platform? When new creators like you and me or experienced devs get a hold of a platform like this and get the opportunity to make similar experiences to AAA games and AA games, that's a very attractive proposition to Sony. Why spend the money on buying studios when you can just house the platform? Now you may ask, why would Sony do that? They have Dreams. Well, for starters, Dreams is exclusive to Sony, and that doesn't account for the possibility of developers on mobile, potentially, or PC that makes those games on those platforms and distributes them on the PlayStation 5. Walk with me for a second. Let's play with this scenario. AAA games cost between $80 and $150 million to make. Now, Outriders, which came out recently, that's not a AAA game, it's a AA game. So let's play with the numbers and let's assume that game cost $60 million to make. I don't know the number, we'll just play with that figure. Now, People Can Fly, the developer behind Outriders, has a staff of 300 people. Outriders took 40 to 200 people to make throughout the course of its development. Now, Outriders, available on multiple platforms, could live or die based on deflated hype or poor sales or bad DLC. Any number of factors could hurt the sales of the game and diminish the chances of the game's longevity. What happens when you take a team of 4 and they make a polished Outriders-like experience? Because you can do that in core. They make an Outriders-like experience. So instead of having 200 people, 4 people. In order for Outriders to even break even, they have to sell 1 million copies at $60 a pop. That'll get them their return on their development costs, but that won't make them any profit. That's a loss to any developer or publisher. Now, when you take 1 to 4 guys making the same in core that provides the backbone, the infrastructure, assets, everything that you need to make a very similar experience, your development time drops, your development cost drops, your profit expectations drop significantly. You only have to pay for 4 people as opposed to 200. Now, before you even go there, yes, I know that core games look like Fortnite for now, but that doesn't account for how the engine will evolve and allow for customization. I can see a future where core provides tools allowing for more cinematic direction and cutscenes. I'm not saying that you can make exactly an Outriders or Destiny game in core, but you might be able to come close enough. With that small team, instead of needing to sell 1 million copies, let's say they sell 30,000 copies of $10 skins or $10 DLC. That breaks down to about $300,000. Manticore gets 50%, which brings that down to $150,000. So that $150K split between 1 to 4 people, utilizing assets that they didn't have to make or an infrastructure that they didn't have to build or maintain, is starting to look pretty good. Now imagine you're a veteran creator and you just came off of a team that lost a lot of money, or you want to make your own ideas and you want the freedom to do so. Now core is looking very, very attractive. We're talking about something that we as console gamers should probably be paying attention to. And I think Sony is paying attention to that. That's a whole lot less money than buying a studio. While current gamers place a whole lot of value on high-end name brand third-party developers, the developers of tomorrow might be you and me. But do you know what kind of experiences that we'll never be able to create? High-end AAA games, which I think is what Sony's banking on. You buy their console, you get the best of both worlds. Now, to a lesser extent, Microsoft is doing something similar, but you get the idea. It's too expensive making video games. There's 2 ways to solve this problem though. You could raise the price of video games, currently $70 a game, or you can lower the price of making those games. There are, of course, expectations. We want what we want out of video games, and yes, we want those spectacular, bombastic, high-end video game experiences. But there's also a growing space to make games that are smaller and equally fun. We just don't have the budget for those AA experiences. And this is something that engines like Core and Crata and Unity, all these things solve that. There's something appealing about a smorgasbord of games, an arcade or carousel-like experience where you're able to jump from game to game and jump with your friends and play whatever you want with the speed of whatever the platform can hold. But what do you think? Is this the death bell of AA development on consoles? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe below. And if you have any questions about the gaming industry, I'll do my best to answer them in upcoming episodes, as well as give my general thoughts on the gaming industry. And for all of you who enjoyed my first video, thank you so much. I hope you appreciate it. I'm going to try to keep bringing these twice a week, hopefully more. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll see you next week.